often do kids tell you, hey, you got to look at my teammate, and how often do you say, okay?
Well, I mean, yeah, an awful lot. And if you really spend some time in a high school that's a really good high school like Killian, you kind of know what's coming in the pipeline a little bit. But there's nothing like, when another player that you trust is vouching for another player. It goes a long way in the process.
All right, I saw Sonny with the brace and the crutch and hardly walking.
Yeah.
Did he have surgery?
Yeah, that's what he ended up doing. Yeah, he had to get some things done in there, and Sonny's so tough, man. He's so tough and resilient. And, he did some things and battles for us all year like that. Well, most part of the year like that. So, he's to be commended, man.
Is he traveling to the game?
Yes, he'll be there. Yeah,
so he can partake in the festivities.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
That's the plan. We don't want to leave no man behind if we don't have to.
Speaking of the festivities, how much you guys, embrace that, just getting away from Miami for a little while and enjoying that whole
I think that's part of the preparation, is getting them to understand that they have to embrace and enjoy the whole experience, because that is the bowl experience. And if you want to continue to be that team that continues to do those things and play in bowl games and being part of the playoff system and do all of those things, you got to embrace all of it and learn how to prepare through all of it, And we want to start a track record of doing those things, I'm sure, around here. So that's part of it. And you want them to embrace the whole experience, but then know how to prioritize and put things in the right place and be where you are when it's time to be there. If we're in a meeting, we're in a meeting. If we're practicing, we're practicing. You know what? If you're out in an event, enjoy each other and have fun, because it's all a part of the process.
Larry, just to get back to Sonny real quick, I mean, how long do you expect the recovery to be for him? Would he be ready for spring ball?
That is the target goal. I mean, that's the target goal for him, and I think it will be. At one time there, we were just like, is there a possibility? Maybe he. It doesn't appear that it's going to be that way. So, hopefully it's spring ball, maybe week in and week 2 or in the spring ball. But I know one thing: that kid's he's going to bust his tail and make sure he's back. He's going to do as much as he can to make sure he's doing his part towards getting back. I know he will. And our medical people here shoot some of the best. So, combination of that, I think he'll be ready for spring.
Still got a little ways to go for the bowl, but we would assume that puts Casey at the right spot and maybe Alex at left guard. Is that kind of how we're looking at this?
That's probably how it will shake out a little bit. And have Danny back in the fold. Danny is a door, and that's a guy that can swing from guard to tackle if you need. So there's a couple different combinations we can play around with here before we get to the game.
Danny's okay. Did he practice today?
Yeah, he practiced today.
In red or yellow?
He practiced in a yellow, and really we didn't have pads on, so it really, at the end of the day, that really didn't matter. He did everything everybody else did during that period.
Coach, with all the tradition that UM has, is it crazy to fathom the fact that you guys haven't won a bowl game in almost a decade?
It's definitely something we're talking about. It's definitely something that is there. We want to always deal in reality, and the reality of it is that's where the University of Miami program is at this time. But the only thing that can change that is us all together and players, and actually getting between the white lines and playing the game. So we can only talk about it so much. Let's make sure we're doing everything we can to prepare for it, and then once we get between the white lines, let it play out that way.
What was it, the last practice? So kind of, for a lot of these kids, it's their last practice on Green Tree.
On Green Tree,
right?
Yeah. It's it's a funny thing, man. That they talk about it and they know it, and they've kind of, they'll relish in it. They'll go back in the locker room and they'll think about it again. But I think we got them in a place mentally where they go, man, we got to go win this game. So I don't want to think about last right now. I think I want the reality to set in. When they've had an opportunity to play the game, win the game, and they sit on that airplane on their way back home and go, okay, now it's finished.
That was the last.
Now it's finished. It's kind of the mindset and the attitude we want to create.
Usually in the past, I remember the underclassmen would carry the.
That kind of went back. That kind of went back to like the regular season. That went back to the end of the regular season.
Okay.
Postseason kind of takes on another life of itself.
Right.
So, but they did do that the Friday of the last regular season.
What are some of the fun things you're going to do in El Paso?
They got a bunch of things for those kids to do, and I want them to relish every experience. I think the one that most excited, and I know back a few years ago when I went with the USF team, just the whole day they spent with the military on the military base and got to see all the tanks and all the machine guns and how it all works and some of the strategic things that they do with it. And a lot of those kids that they didn't think they would enjoy an experience like that, they really got into it and found out how really fascinating that part of, what our people in our country does, and then they gain an experience and a value for what, for actually what's going on. So you like those experiences that are kind of real life experiences for them, so that they can actually understand that, what, those guys are my age. They're 18 to 22-year-olds too. They're just not playing football. They're protecting our country. So it's an awesome kind of aha moment for them as well too. So it's good all the way around. But I think that was one that stuck out with the kids the most. And then they do some other things like golf carting and all that. But I think the biggest thing too is just the camaraderie. Another opportunity. They're in Texas, so there's really not a whole lot of other people that can pull them away from each other. So all they really have is each other, and they embrace that. And some of the things that go on, they have a lot of fun with.
You mean go-karting?
I think so. I think that's what I read on there. I'm not sure. I want to be careful with go-karting.
Yeah.
No, no
Right.
Mexico though, right? No Mexico.
Nobody's going to Juarez.
No habla español.
Coach, how much you been just enjoying this, this whole ride?
Hey, you know what? At some point you have to. You have to, man. Reality is what the reality is going to be. There's nothing you can do about that. The only thing you control, you tell everybody, and even some of these guys that when they were talking about the NFL and all those type of things, I say, you know what you're in control of? First of all, we're all fortunate if we wake up the next morning. And if you wake up, all you have is that day. If you focused on that day, the other days and all that stuff, they'll fall into line, they'll fall into place, but you only can control the day that you have. That's all that you're guaranteed. So same way in coaching, same thing with us, same thing in everything we do. I got up this morning, what, God, what a great day. What a great opportunity to go and just do what I love to do and be around the people that you want to be around, and the kids, and know those things, and you take that day and you win that day. And then the next day you get up, if you're fortunate enough, you try to win that day and enjoy it and take it in stride each and every day, and you'll learn to enjoy the ride. You understand that it's a journey, and if you're fortunate enough to have each day on that journey, you're lucky. You're very fortunate, because some people didn't have that this morning.
How much has this team taken on that mantra? It seems like your words have manifested to what they.
I think they've grown a lot in that area. I think they're trying to, you want to change culture, you want to change the way things are. You got to start with yourself first. And if you come in with the right mindset, you don't know how a smile in the morning can affect somebody else. How just a relish of the opportunity that I have today can affect somebody else, and that's contagious. Then all of a sudden you got 15 people in the room that feel fortunate this morning. Now you got 30, now you got 45, now you got, and then hopefully that's what you start to spill over to, and getting these guys to understand that it's all about opportunities. And every time that door opens, we need to kick it down, and step in it, and go in boldly and enjoy what we're doing.
All right, last question, guys.
That'd be a walk-off. That'd be a walk-off
Thank you,
answer.
Jerry.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.